going on, and welcome back to the channel. Well, we are back on Jonah's 03 project or 03 truck. I'm gonna button things up. We have pretty much everything buttoned up with the air dog. We have started putting it back together due to some unforeseen circumstances. The truck is just going to go back together the way that it was, just because of, like I said, some unforeseen circumstances. Sounds like we're getting a divorce, doesn't it? Anyway, we have everything put back together as far as turbo, exhaust manifold. The only upgrade we did do, I already had them in, so that's why I used them, is I did go with manifold studs instead of putting the bolts with the spacers back in. Just because I had them, going to use them. So all that's back together, drains back on, turbo feeds back on. One of the other thing that we have to replace is the rad line. I'm sorry, not rad line, my apologies. The heater core line, he did have a blowout on it. So I had to run just O'Reilly. It's a cut to length. I've already got it cut to length. So everything should be good with there. Let's see, we had a blowout. So we got to put the hot pipe back on. One of the things that we're going to be doing, I already had it, is an intake elbow. This company reached out to me. They are GSTP Auto Parts. They're on most social media platforms. They do have a website. They reached out to me, wanted to know if they could help out with one of my videos. I told them what I was working on, and they had that right there. So they sent me that to put on this 03 project. They do have a new tool out as well. That is on its way to me. I'm looking forward to showing you guys that. It's going to be pretty cool, really. I'm going to be doing a project with Josh again. If you guys remember right, we had his 70 Chevelle on the channel a while back, did a headlight upgrade on it. We're going to be working with Evil Energy and outfitting his LS Swap Camaro now. So gonna have some Evil Energy fittings on here, their AN line. So yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool, to say the least, outfitting his Camaro with some Evil Energy products. So anyway, again, GSTP, I believe, Auto Parts. I'll put some links in the description below for them. They reached out, wanted to know if they could help out with one of my projects. So we're doing an intake elbow on his truck. As of right now, that's the only upgrades we're doing other than the air dog. One of the things I want to point out, I hate it when things are half-assed. So we took this apart. The whole truck was taken apart just because we thought we were going a different direction than what we are. These gaskets are available and they're cheap. Got these right here at O'Reilly. Buy the gaskets. Don't smear everything with RTV. You can see we haven't got it all off yet. It was all over the bolts. It was smeared all over the grid heater. That's a gasket there. That's not RTV. But they had orange RTV smeared all over everything. Take the time, do it right. If there's a gasket available, use it. The only place where you have to worry about using RTV, rear, front differentials. Sometimes on these 11.5s, there is a gasket available for those, if I'm not mistaken. And on the timing chain cover. Timing chain covers, there's a gasket available, but to source one is kind of difficult sometimes. And if you're going to use RTV, use a good quality product. This is what I use right here. It's the right stuff from Permatex. Permatex is probably my go-to for a lot of the products, whether it be thread locker or their gasket maker. Anyway, use the right product. That's all you got to do. So we're going to get to putting some parts on this truck, try and get it back together. I do have some new batteries for it. Believe it or not, these are Motorcraft batteries. It was the best bang for the buck. 3-year warranty, 850 cold crank amps. Like I said, best bang for the buck. He was kind of not happy that we're putting a Ford battery or a Motorcraft battery per se. Who knows who builds the battery? It's just the label that's on it. So like I said, bang for the buck warranty wise. I've got a fleet account at O'Reilly, so I get a lot of parts there. I think those were right about $140. 3-year warranty, 850 cold crank amps, and yeah, so let's start slinging some parts. So I think before we do anything else, I'm going to go ahead and do the hot pipe first. While the battery box is out, or battery tray, whatever you want to call it, is out, we got ample room to move around and get that back in place. Somebody has, this truck is, I don't even want to talk about it. Whoever owned this truck and did the work on this truck is not a bright person. You can see all the crap, the wires. It's a mess. They cut all the plugs off the tail lights just so they could put aftermarket tail lights on, when if you would have bought the right tail lights, all you would have had to do was do a plug and play with the pigtail that's provided for them. But now I've got to try and source a back half of a harness so I can put everything back together. So, because he was having some taillight issues, one wasn't working, a brake light was working but not a turn signal. It was not making any sense at all. So whoever jerry rigged this truck together, yeah, should not be working on vehicles. But anyway, we got the hot pipe right here. Like I said, it's been screwed with. I'm not sure what hot pipe this is out of. This might be a 2nd gen hot pipe, which actually might have worked out to our favor if we would have done a 2nd gen swap, because he was going to do a low mount for right now. So this could have possibly worked out in our favor if it was what I think it is, but I'm not certain. Obviously it was too short for wherever they pulled it from, so they put this little jerry-rigged extension there. So right now I'm going to put the hot pipe back on and just kind of work from there, do radiator lines, or the heater core line. I do have the AirDog power supply ran over to the passenger side because I got plenty of length, because there's already quite a bit of stuff on the driver's side. So we're just making it as user-friendly as possible. All right, so the boot's already on right here, and the boot is on the hot pipe itself. So we're gonna go ahead and slide this in place. All right, get the hot pipe in. It was kind of a pain in the butt because of the extension on there. I'm not sure what this hot pipe is for. I mean, it does line up perfect. It's just short for some reason. So I want to say this is probably for a 2nd gen, but I'm not certain. So this hot pipe actually would have worked out well the way it's sitting, clocking the compressor housing, and just a way to where we could make this pipe work and not have to use this extension. So anyway, the only other thing I did do was put in the heater core line. Those are just pinch fittings here. The back one right there is a pinch fitting as well. So now we're going to get the intake horn put on next. I don't know where he has the positive laying, nor do I know where the ground's at, because there's a ground strap that has to go from the engine to the front of the grid heater, and then the power source wherever it's laying. I'm not sure actually where it's at. So going to go ahead and get that stuff put back in place, and put the battery box in on the passenger side, hook up the AirDog, and start this truck. Like I said, we got gaskets here for top and bottom. You're going to have one on your plenum cover to grid heater, and then grid heater to intake elbow. I will have to go through and tighten up all these plugs, probably put some thread sealer on there and put them on there. The only thing I don't like about this, they sent this bracket. I don't know what this bracket's supposed to do. Most of the time on all of these that I've used, they have a tab, extra tab welded on here someplace for your dipstick. The only other thing I thought about doing was, if it would work out, use a bolt in one of these plugs locations, but these are probably NTP, so a bolt's only going to go in so far and it won't work. You can get the right pitch and right thread, but as far as having it go back in and tighten up all the way, it probably would not work. So We're just going to figure out what to do with the dipstick once we get everything back together. As you can see right here on the factory location, or on the factory intake horn, this bolt right here is where your dipstick goes. This is one of the other things I want to point out as well. If you look right in there, how that pinches down, you got a nice opening here, you got a nice opening here, and then your air is really pinched off because of where it bolts to the plenum cover. You can see that's nice and open. In the truck, one other thing I want to point out too, these may look square, but they're not. So you want to make sure and get your gaskets oriented the right way. You can see how we're lined up. And nothing else lines up. So you want to make sure and orient these the right way so all your holes line up. These gaskets only go on one way. Alright, same thing on your plenum cover. Only goes on one way. Lay that on there. Lay your grid heater on there. The grid heater will only go on one way as well. Your ground right here goes towards the front of the engine, and your positives to the back. I put the boot on the cold pipe coming from the intercooler. I'm going to take both of my clamps, put them up here like this. Roll that into the boot. And then into place. All right, in the grace of me throwing a 3-year-old temper tantrum, I shut the camera off. Fitment on this intake elbow positively, absolutely sucks butt. I end up having to take fittings loose, or this lower boot loose, moved it around, screw things around. I would not buy this. I would not take it if somebody gave it to me. Okay, I guess I did take it because they did give it to me, but I had to try my best to put this on and see how it worked out. You can see right there, it's not the best alignment, but it is on. All clamps are tight, bolts are tight. Still got to tighten the plugs up. Yeah, I would not, I stress, I would not buy this intake elbow. Could be me, it could be something, an issue with the truck. As far as you guys see everything else that's kind of cobbled together, I should not be too hard on the intake elbow, because it could be something with the intercooler placement, truck. It could be something as far as that as well. So right now I'm going to go ahead and get the battery box put in place over there on the passenger side, put the battery in, and let's get this truck started. All right, do a kind of a final walk around, make sure I have all the tools picked up, which I believe I do. Passenger side battery tray is in. We got some new battery terminals. Everything's tight. Oops. No. We got to hook the air dog up yet. Basically all you do there is you have a negative and you got a positive. So I'll hook those up accordingly. And then we'll be ready to go. Alright, now we have those hooked up and we're ready to go. So let's go turn the key on and see what happens. Air dog's running. Priming up. We'll let that stop. If I remember correctly, those usually run for like 20 seconds when you first turn the key on. Helps prime the system. Yeah, let's just go ahead and try it. Well, so far so good. Well, it's back living anyway. Kind of got a little bit of a long crank. I shut it off and started it up a couple of times, and we got a long crank. Not sure why. Usually that's a bleed off in your fuel system, or maybe a CP3, an injector, or something's going bad. So need to look into that. But right now she's living and starting under its own power. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a success for what we did do. That's pretty much all I have on this project for right now. We have some other things coming. So yeah, I guess you have to stay tuned. We do have, you guys can do whatever you want as far as that intake elbow. For me, my application, I didn't like it. Fitment wasn't the best, but like I said, everything on this truck has been cobbled. So it could be the truck itself. Don't know. So links are in the description. You guys want to check them out. They are sending me a tool as well, so stay tuned for that. Pretty excited to get that. Should make life a lot easier as far as building some fittings. So with that being said, if you don't mind, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you guys in the next one.